Hello, every pony and every person and every griffin, I suppose.
Okay.
What? It's good to include everybody,
Then just say everyone.
but it's more boring that way.
That doesn't make it less inclusive.
How do you know? How do you know some people? How do you know?
Hello, every being.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And what
Anyways,
about non-sentient beings? What about them?
oh,
Huh?
be quiet. Well, non-sentient beings aren't going to be listening to this, are they?
How do you know?
Anyways, shut up, dude. A rock is not going to be on the internet in the first place,
Don't
so it's not going
offend.
to find us.
Don't offend Rocky.
Shut up.
Multiple fans are gonna kill you for that.
All right, everybody, today we are reading Chapter 3 of The Best Night Ever, and for the first time in a while, we are not reading at midnight or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
And so both of us are wide awake, ready to go, and I swear to God, if one of us yawns, I am going to flip a table. I'm going to grab, I don't have a desk in front of me, I'm going to grab my 6-drawer dresser, and I'm going to hoist it over my head and throw it across the room. I would be so angry if one of us yawns.
Sorry, what?
Oh my God!
I, I did that on purpose, don't worry.
I know. Okay,
Just,
so today the reading will be done by me and the voices will be done by Nico, which I don't remember what our reasoning was for that originally, but okay. What if we did it where we swapped every word?
oh my god, that will be terrible. We will take
That'd be
forever.
funny. Let's do it for the first sentence, despite...
Duh.
I was joking.
God
Let's
damn.
not do that.
You,
Okay.
Just start then.
You ready?
Yeah.
We're all ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, I guess we're ready. All right. Sugar Cube Corner. Despite the gingerbread imitation exterior, it was a fairly common pastry shop. Then again, compared to spending one drunken night at a seedy Trotton Donuts shop, it was fairly high class. Princess Celestia herself had also graced it with her presence once before, making it effectively haute couture. The sad and pathetic truth was that Celestia could visit a country outhouse, and the nobles would quickly call it a petite trianon, and squabble over the right to visit. More importantly...
Well, that's how royalty works, sadly.
I suppose. More importantly, Sugar Cube Corner was also the residence and working place of the cake-launching, party-crazy stage diver at the gala, one Pinkamena Diane Pie. She was the next stop after Rarities, and he expected it to take a few more loops to work out how to handle her. Oh my God, she can break the fourth wall. She's probably done this before. The important thing was to test the waters due to its proximity to the Carousel Boutique. On his final run, he needed to conserve as much time between stops as possible. It was still early morning, and the pastry shop was having the normal business rush that such places enjoyed as ponies tried to use sugar and caffeine to prepare for their day. Which I've never understood. Blue Blood quickly undid his tie and loosened his collar. It wouldn't do to appear too stuffy with this one. A part of him was always a little nervous coming to places like this. After all, he didn't handle hyperactivity well, and the element of laughter was a tad unstable and unpredictable.
A tad?
Even for him. A tad. Hushed whispers preceded his entering the store.
Welcome to Sugar Corner.
A motherly-looking earth pony in pastel color. Why does it specify pastels? Isn't everyone in the show pastel?
Oh, why? What?
Never mind. Only to have her eyes widen in recognition.
Please, sorry to skip ahead, but I need to borrow Miss Pinkamena for a minute or two.
Of course, it was rude to not order something.
When you can, I also have a cupcake with almonds and add a whole strawberry on top. Cut linguines, not whole if you would.
Not that it was easy to see all the sweets in such a store, but not be reminded of that disgraceful binge she had gone through how many loops ago? 200 maybe? Had to learn
200,
that
Jesus.
right. So very right. Now all he had to do was
Hi!
Halfway into sitting at one of the indoor tables, Blueblood nearly jumped out of his skin. Impossibly, some pony was actually staring at him upside down. Was she perched on his head? It didn't feel like it. Was she hanging from the ceiling like one of Luna's bats? He never got to see how the mare pulled the trick off, because a second later she was seated opposite him, her hooves placed innocently on the table. This was the pink terror of the gala. She seemed harmly enough. Earth pony, bright pink coat, darker pink mane, aqua blue eyes, about the same color as his own. At least she was sitting still and not bouncing around. Balloons for a cutie mark, which explained a few things.
You must be Miss Pinkamena,
He stated, held out his hoof.
the element of laughter.
She giggled and shook his hoof with both of her own. Her mouth also started to work at high speed.
Woo-wee, you know about that? You must be pretty fast money, but I guess you are from Canterlot just like Twilight. And Twilight's the smartest pony. I know. Every pony is saying that you're a prince, but I know you don't have wings, just a horn. How can you be a prince? Oh, it's just a name, just like Green Fish, or the artist formerly known as Prince. Are you an artist? Actually... But then again, if you were a prince, I guess that it would make sense that you know all about the elements of harmony, because you're like the princess brothers, or maybe her nephew, or her illegit don't.
He spoke up, cutting the motor mouth off.
I'm her nephew. I don't have wings just because I don't have wings because I'm just a unicorn. How did you know I was from Canterlot?
Hang on.
What?
I just realized. We were talking about this the other day, and I said that I don't think it's likely that Luna or Celestia have a sister or a sibling of any kind. But I just realized he's their nephew in some way, shape, or form.
Oh,
and even though it is clarified that he's not actually a direct nephew, he is a little bit more distantly related than that. Luna and Celestia must have other family members of some kind. Otherwise...
this wouldn't make sense.
Unless they've had kids, how does somebody become related to one of them?
Yeah.
Or perhaps it was via adoption.
That's a
The
possibility.
mysteries. I suppose that is a legitimate... Anyways, let's see, where were we?
Pinky tilted.
Pinky tilted her head in bubbly confusion. Bubbly confusion? What even is that?
Where else would a prince be
That almost confuses me.
I suppose. So I heard you want to see me for. So what do you want to see me for?
The bundle of energy asked.
Oh, 1 second.
She literally bounced away out of sight, then came back from the other side, this time balancing a platter on the tip of her nose. On it were 2 cupcakes of the sort he had just ordered.
I only order 1.
He began to protest.
Anyone gets 1 free when they come to when they from their first visit.
Pinky assured him, putting the plate down on the table.
Okie dokie, ready to listen now. Yes, to the point.
Blueblood agreed.
I'm here because of the gala. Ooh.
Pinky's blue eyes became super wide as she smiled.
Are you asking me to the gala? What?
He coughed.
What? You didn't ask me? You didn't ask that time last time. I didn't. Hey!
The one thing that isn't going to be the same every time. She peered at him closely.
What do you mean last time?
Blueblood growled in frustration. This wasn't working right at all.
I'm repeating the same day over and over.
He growled.
The last time I talked to you, you say something different.
Pinkie Pie crossed her front legs and nodded.
That sounds like me, alright?
He just face-huffed.
So what do you want to see?
The implications, if that was canon, the implications of Pinkie Pie would be ridiculous.
So what do you want to see me for?
The bundle of energy asked.
Oh, 1 second.
She literally bounced away out of sight and then came back from the other side, this time balancing a platter on the tip of her nose. On it were 2 cupcakes of the sort he had just ordered.
I only ordered 1. Everyone gets 1 when the first time they visit.
Pinky assured him, putting the plate down on the table.
Okie dokie, ready to listen now. Yes, the point.
He agreed.
I'm here because of the gala. Ooh.
Pinky's blue eyes became super wide, and then she smiled.
Is there something wrong with the gala? Again with this?
He muttered. The question worked, though.
Yes, as a matter of fact, there is. Is it a balloon storage or isn't it?
Pinky slammed a hoof on the table, leaning forward to whisper.
All the time to suffer from a rubber and what?
A rubber embargo.
Oh no.
He carefully pushed her back into her seat.
Let me explain.
Pinky cocked her head again, listening.
I heard from Twilight that you're Ponyville's most well-respected party planner.
Kind of a lie, but whatever. He then asked.
That is correct, isn't it? Yep.
Pinky enthusiastically replied.
That's me, Ponyville's #1 party pony. You must be very excited about the gala then. I'm super duper excited. After I finished work, I was going to bounce on my new trampoline to work off some super bouncy energy. Have you ever had that feeling when you just need to go all the way up and all the way down and all the way up again and all the way down again? Because I get that all the time. The trampoline helps, but sometimes it makes it even worse. Bouncing higher and higher usually works though. Did you know that I heard that there are entire castle designed for bouncing? Bouncy castles they are called. Hey, do you have those in Cantaloupe? Can you get one for the gala? I take that I'll take that out to mean yes. I am excited about going to the gala. Pretty excited.
Pinky clarified. He nodded. That much was obvious.
I take it to you haven't been to the gala before, Miss Pinkamina. Nope.
She shook her head and her curly mane bounced while her body couldn't.
And you can call me Pinkie Pie. Let me be frank with you. Frank, I think your name was Blue Blood. I trotted right into that one. Again, let me be candid then.
Pinky stared at him evenly.
Candid isn't a name.
He coughed, cleared his thoughts, and continued.
A gala is a very specific sort of party, a very formal party.
The mention of parties got Pinky's attention and held it.
Go on.
She prompted.
Have you been to any weddings before?
Blue Blood asked, taking a moment to bite into the cupcake. It was low-class food, but it was really quite good, in a jejune sort of way. Sadly, the last year or so had turned him into a somewhat pedestrian pony when it came to his vices.
Sure I have.
Pinky held out her hoof and started counting on non-existent digits.
I went to my sister Sinky's wedding and Ditsy-Doo and Carrot Tops. And what was your sister's wedding like?
Pinky thought back to that day, her lower lip sticking out in an exaggerated and adorable pout.
Well, Daddy had all the family get together and we went and we waited by their pretty blue river, and I had to be quiet and wear a boring old dress because I was a maid or something. And then Inky and Tani said their vows.
Pinky smiled as she breezed past what was the boring part in her recollection.
And then they had a big kiss and they were married, and then we went out to the big tent and ate and danced and I had tons of fun. Did your father ever dance with your sister?
He asked leadingly.
Before giving her to her new husband? Yep.
Pinky confirmed, nodding so vigorously her mane bounced.
What kind of dance was it? Do you remember the music?
Pinky nodded again.
I remember alright. It was a slow kind of music. All the married ponies were out dancing, and I guess some who weren't married too.
She held up her hooves and mimicked putting them on his shoulders.
They stood up and danced to each other as they slowly moved around in circles. That.
He stressed, lowering her hooves down to the table again.
Is the kind of music that will be played at the gala. It is also the kind of dancing that will be at the gala.
Pinky seemed to need a few seconds to process that news.
But
she protested.
That's so boring. Don't worry.
He quickly reassured her.
There is a more lively formalized dance called the marché. Marché?
Marché. The pink pony didn't sound convinced.
Marché.
He repeated.
Coincidentally, I happen to have brought a book on it with some of the simpler moves highlighted, and I can show you how to start. You'll be enjoying the gala properly in no time. Does that sound fun?
Pinky wasn't quite frowning, but she was looking somewhat distraught. Her puffy mane even began to droop a little. The gears turned and a serious look crossed her face as she thought back to her sister's wedding replaying that one part in particular over and over. Back then, when all the other pony couples had danced, she had had to wait and watch from her table. Even Blinky had danced after finding a colt who was a friend of the groom.
Every party is a little different after all.
Blue Blood reminded her.
How do you know you want to join? You want to join if you don't give it a try?
That seemed to do the trick,
You're right.
Pinky said to him and to herself.
You're right. If the gala has the same as any old party, it wouldn't be so special now, but it will definitely. I'll definitely learn how to dance, and how to party gala style. Thanks, Celestia.
Blue Blood breathed a sigh of relief and then patted her hoof again.
I mean, thank goodness. I didn't bring that book for nothing.
She met his shifty eyes with her own.
What
For a
is he
moment or
suggesting
two,
that she can't read?
I don't know. Maybe she didn't want to. Maybe he thought she wouldn't want to read it. For a moment or two, he even got the impression that she sensed something was amiss. Blue Blood put on his most charming and suave grin to disarm her suspicion. It usually worked wonders on mares, but with this one, the odds were about 50-50. One of her ears twitched.
Okie dokie lucky.
Then, abruptly, she was all smiles and bubbles and balloons again.
And I can teach you how to do the pony polka. Oh, wonderful.
Blue Blood spent much of that loop getting a feel for how quickly he could pass on the formal dancing techniques of the court to Ponyville's resident candy-consuming party loon. He also spent about the same amount of time in the next loop doing the same. By the third iteration, however, he had learned just how to most efficiently make progress on that front. He brought a record of a typical marché dance piece, Dance of Sagittarius in D minor, and had her practice. Despite appearing to have the attention span of a hyperactive filly, she was actually very astute when she put her mind to things. The only real annoyance was her unpredictability. No other pony he had ever encountered in hundreds of gala loops was still so able to surprise him. It was strange, but manageable. Pinkamena picked up Marché quite readily once she had spent an hour or so listening to the music, understanding the thematic beats that determined the required steps, and after seeing him set an example. It was really quite elementary in principle. Most equestrians couldn't stand on two legs for very long, Miss Pie being an apparent exception. Due to this physical limitation, unless a pair of ponies supported one another, most dances longer than a minute or so had to be done on all fours. Marché was all about movements in sync with one's partner. Left, right, back, forward, pirouette left, pirouette right, slide, and reverse. In the process, he had also learned more than he'd ever feared about common music. No matter, the party prodigy would be ready. Generosity, check. Laughter, check. Blue Blood considered the latter the most challenging of the six, and it was a relief to have it finally sorted out. He'd refined that part of the plan down to 2.5 hours spent in Ponyville, a little over his most idealistic projections, but well below what he had feared. The next major obstacle was to be found outside town, past the rough roads of Ponyville, and into the countryside. He raised an eyebrow at the dirt on his hooves. Not that he hadn't been through worse. Those loops where he had killed himself in a variety of ways had left no less pleasant impression. That one time he had jumped in front of a train must have had quite the mess, to say nothing of a swan dive off Canterlot's highest spire. It wasn't really the dirt that bothered him, it was just symptomatic of the problem ahead. Sweet Apple Acres. It was larger than he had expected. Land was at a premium in Canterlot, and as part of his royal office, Blue Blood had overseen the distribution and zoning of thousands of square miles. He knew a large and expensive piece of land when he saw one on a map or on the ground. Sweet Apple Acres was just such. He had looked up the actual size long before coming and checked the legal limits of the family's acreage. They actually owned farmland right up to the border of Everfree itself. Gutsy. He would have walled off his property from that savage nightmare forest. Once again, the change of targets necessitated a quick change in clothes. Fortunately, he was a unicorn. Stowing both the dress shirt and the formal wear, he instead wore a coat, shirt, and brown gloves. He had no intention, under any circumstance, of not at least looking passably dressed, regardless of where his new outlook on life took him. At the same time, it didn't take an RAAS valedictorian to realize that showing up at this farm in courtly clothes would hurt his cause.
Yep.
Before he could approach the farmhouse that dominated the property, he passed under an iron gate with no doors, probably intended to both state that the land one was entering was welcoming, but quite strictly owned and managed. It reminded him a bit of the arches in the palace garden. He half expected there to be more workers, or even a contracted guard or two. Instead, as he passed by rows of apple trees, he met not a pony. Not until he encountered a red-coated fellow in the middle of the path.
Howdy.
The farm pony spoke with that clear, rustic accent.
Can I help you with
I don't know if you...
Can I help you with anything? You
I'm
may.
going to be totally honest.
What?
I'm going to be totally honest. I don't think you can pull off Big Mac.
No, I can't.
I'm pretty sure you can't.
Just go with it, don't complain.
Blue Blood replied, raising a gloved hoof in greeting.
I am Prince Blueblood. I had come to speak to Miss Applejack.
The red workhorse chewed on a stalk of straw.
You're the prince?
He finally asked, skeptically.
Quite.
Blue Blood huffed.
I suppose I'll be more persuasive next time. Howdy.
The farm pony spoke with that clear, rustic accent.
Can I help you with anything? You may.
Blue Blood replied, raising a gloved hoof in greeting. Next to him, one of the Royal Guard Pegasi stared forward with professional indifference.
I am Prince Blueblood. I have come to speak with Miss Applejack.
The red workhorse chewed on a stalk of straw.
You're the prince? I can't wait. Oh, sorry.
He finally asked skeptically.
I can't wait this.
Blue Blood asked, the expression slipping for a second.
I am a prince of Equestria. Yes, this is about the gala tonight.
The apple farmer rolled the stalk between his teeth. This Macintosh was a big lug, a tad larger than Blue Blood himself and the size of a full-fledged royal guard. They clearly bred them like bulls out here.
I get it.
He finally said, and headed to the house. His initial impression of the element of honesty upon first seeing her was that she was in need of some serious polish. Hell's bells, she was about the opposite of every mare he had ever encountered in Canterlot. Applejack was fit and strong, but not in the manufactured way that came from spending time at a gym or with, in his case, a personal trainer. It may just have been near legendary Earth Pony vitality at work coloring his impression. They did say, once you win Earth Pony, you never win back. But she was just such a raw specimen. Sandy and Light Touch would have had a field day getting this mare ready for the gala. Still, she was pretty in a rugged country way. Green eyes, golden mane, straw coat, good coloration. The ponytails, though, were just so utilitarian. Luckily, he already knew beforehand that she knew well enough to adjust her attire for the gala. Or perhaps one of the others had insisted. It was auspicious for him. All he had to do was convince her to make some changes to what she brought to sell at the gala.
Well, howdy.
Applejack tipped her hat just a bit and too readily shook his hoof.
And it's a surprise. What's a country know like yourself doing way out here? I can't.
Her brother picked that moment to lean over and whisper something in her ear.
He is?
She asked the big red pony and blinked, giving Blue Blood another, more cautious look.
This ain't about the border, is it? The border.
The prince asked, a little thrown by the question.
Why would you assume that? You're the head of the royal sovereign of the royal sovereign and map marking office, ain't you?
Applejack pointedly inquired.
Don't tell me you were losing another lap. Don't tell me we're losing another couple acres to Everfree.
Blue Blood's mind raced, and he did recall something about that.
Oh.
He realized a gloved hoof hiding his eyes.
That was sweet Celestia. Of course, that will be that farm. For what? This would be that farm next to the forest. That's right. About 4 years ago, once your colts came by and told us he was extending the border of the forest.
Applejack stamped an indignant hoof on the wooden floor.
We lost the whole crop. We lost the whole crop of our best apple trees. The whole place is just a mess of shops now. Just one big stump we can do nothing about.
This was not where he wanted the conversation to go today.
1 second. No puedo ahora. Sorry. You have my apologies for that.
He tried to be diplomatic.
But I didn't make a habit of questioning or surveyors. As I recall, all the board needed was some straightening out. Your property just happened to be in the way. You must have been compensated. Your survey gave you 100 bits per acre loss. My grandpappy paid twice that for 100 years ago. The apple acres isn't the only family that have been given the shard neither.
Applejack, now set on her tirade, didn't even seem inclined to let him inside the house.
Are you sure there was a pretty good reason? Didn't y'all actually read on any of the complaints I've been sending ya?
The element of harmony advanced on his noble self, glaring at him eye to eye.
What brought you out here anyway? The gala?
It seemed like it had been a while since he returned to his study. Blueblood ground his teeth together in frustration, digging out the free maps. He was Grand Veneur, which meant he decided the protected status of Equestria's wildlands. Some of these were areas set aside for natural beautification, some were national parkland, and others were pure wildlands like Everfree. Technically, they were all game preserves under the ownership of the Crown. Sometimes the borders of these lands were extended, other times they were contracted, depending on the needs of the country, local communities, and the financial state of the department. One would think it a prestigious office, but really Blueblood didn't do very much. He had final say on work others did, and that was really it. 100 other ponies actually went out and did the survey work, compiled the results, sent them through a committee. Pause it.
Okay. That's a weird beauty mark.
She poked one of the golden spokes of his compass rose with her hoof, and then one of the silver points.
Is it a star, like Twilight? Apple bloom.
Big Mac chided her from where he stood close by.
It's a compass rose.
He informed her, only now realizing she was a flat herself.
So, in old time, it's also known as the star of the sea. So it ain't like a real star.
Apple Bloom backed away, letting his coat fall back over half of the mark on his flank.
What does it mean then? How did you get the star if you didn't the star as what? How do you get a star that ain't a star as your kitty mark? Bloom.
Mac reproved her again, this time with a faint frown on his seemingly unflappable face.
A shouldn't be Gilbardian guessed about her cutie marks. You know that. You know that's a very realistic realistic advice. I mean, I'm pretty sure some ponies have some cutie marks they aren't very proud of.
Gee, I can think of somebody. Or some pony. Where am I? Oh, he shifted the straw from one side of his mouth to the other, eyes falling on the equestrian prince.
Sorry about that. No.
Blueblood replied.
It's alright.
He brushed back the coat again so the filly could see the whole mark.
The compass represents the coordinate points, north, east, south, west, and the degrees in between. But what does it mean?
Apple Bloom pressed, pouting it, having a technical explanation, but no. What was that?
What?
Did you hear that?
No.
Something... Okay, something just got really freaking loud, and I don't know what it was. Pouting it, having a technical explanation, but no useful context.
How'd he get it? It means my official tennis is finding directions.
He answered. Really, he wasn't sure what his cutie mark really represented. It was probably nothing more than an affinity for and skill with maps.
As far as how I got it,
The blank flank filly's eyes lit up at the promise of finding out a new way to get a cutie mark.
I got a little lost one day.
That's it? Blue Blood told her. Apple Bloom blinked a few times, expecting more.
That's it.
He finished.
That can't be it.
She protested.
You get a cutie mark for getting lost? I got lost all the time, and I never got my cutie mark from it. I did find something while I was lost, but I wouldn't make much sense to you, I'm afraid.
He explained just as Applejack entered with a cup of coffee. It's black coffee, too, much stronger than he had normally bothered with.
Next time I'll remember to ask for milk and cream.
He took the cup with a slight nod of thanks.
You have milk and you do have milk and cream, don't you? We're on a farm, Sugar Cube.
Applejack sat opposite with her own cup.
We got more milk and cream than you can shake a hoof at. Of course.
He took a sip and got down to business with the apples.
Miss Applejack, the other matter I want to discuss about the gala? Yes. What about it? It has come to my attention that you intend to use an occasion to use the occasion to sell some of your wares.
He began.
Who told you that?
Applejack interrupted.
One of
He searched for a name.
your friends? Twilight?
Applejack helpfully provided the name of which of her comrades knew about her plan.
What's that gear doing flopping your gums about that? Well,
Blueblood continued undeterred.
about your wares, as one of nobility myself, I thought I could pass on my ideas to better present your many apple dishes. Now hold on just a second.
Applejack put down her cup, objecting to his invitation.
Sweet Laperecos down-home apples are plenty good for even the most picky high society types. You say I won't be able to sell our delicious homemade produce or signature dumplings and first as you come caramel apples to their hotty-toddy get-together?
His eyebrow twitched in irritation.
I'm sure your oh wow. I'm sure your carnival fair goes so well in Ponyville, but
He sighed, just then realizing what he'd blurted out.
oh nuts. Extra milk and cream.
He took the cup with a slight nod of thanks.
Thank you. We're on a farm, Sugar Cube.
Applejack sat opposite with her own cup.
Enjoy. Now if I may,
He took a sip and got down to business with the apples.
Miss Applejack the Gala. What about it? It's come to my attention that you intend to sell some of your wares.
He began.
Who told you that?
Applejack interrupted.
One of your
Would it really be an interruption at this point if he expects it?
I guess not. One of your friends. Twilight, what the girl doing frapping her gums up about that? Well,
Blueblood continued, coming again to the point of this whole endeavor.
about your wares, I believe I have a good idea for some samples. Apple-tastic teas. Apple-tastic street. I can speak. You wish to sell the gala. Fierce and candy-coated apples and pies and fried dumplings and such. Right on the money there.
Applejack confirmed.
We got a lot of sweet apple liquors, finest pack and ready to sell tonight. Gonna make a killing. One only. Yep, sure you are. How much exactly do you expect to make?
He asked, setting down his cup and saucer.
The country mayor nodded to. Oh, sorry.
The country mare nodded to herself as she crunched the numbers.
Well, sir, we got more repairs to do on the Warsner's bed, and of course, Granny needs her new hip. She's upstairs sleeping. Poor gal. All in all, I was hoping for 100 pairs at least. 200 will be real nice, but that's probably being optimistic.
Blueblood chuckled.
Well,
He enthusiastically announced.
that's hardly much at all. I could give you that. I could give you that right now.
Okay, that hadn't worked. Stubborn mare.
I wonder why.
Gee,
We got
science.
probably found it offensive to just go out like that.
Oh, I'm sure. Because it's almost like he's trying to pay her not to go. Or not to take her family's food.
We got a lot of sweet apple liquors finest pack for ready to sell tonight. Gonna make a killing. Well, indeed. How much exactly do you expect to make?
How did I lose? Okay. He asked, setting down his cup and saucer. The country mare nodded to herself as she crunched the numbers.
Well, see, should we really read all of this again every time?
That's up to you.
We should. Well, sir, we got more repairs to do on the western band, and of course, Granny needs a new hip. She's upstairs sleeping, poor girl. I was hoping for 100 beats at least. 200 will be real nice, but that's probably being optimistic.
You know what I'm curious about?
What?
So 2 bits buys you a mug of cider.
Yeah.
200, which is really not all that much more, will apparently be enough to fix a barn and buy a hip. That's a lot. Like, they must really value cider. That or a hip is not that expensive. I guess with magic that does become easy. Anyways, Blue Blood took a calming, slow breath. In and out,
Miss Applejack?
he said.
Well, I don't doubt the skills as salesman as a salesman or the quality of your apples here. I will be remiss if I didn't tell you that your apples are considered out of Berg among controls and nobility.
What did you say? Out of what? Vogue, okay.
I just have to bring I just have to bring back into Vogue then, Prince Blueblood.
Applejack spoke with a little heat there.
Don't tell me you're one of those fancy types too good for a simple country apple.
He stumbled in his response for a second.
No, I have no problems with apples myself. In fact, I rather enjoy them.
Okay,
I
something just made another loud noise, and it's weirding me out because I don't know what's making it.
No, I have no problem with apples myself. In fact, I rather enjoy them from time to time. Really?
Country Mare gave him a shrewd look.
What's your favorite type of apple then? Hold on.
Calville Blanc de Hiver. He easily answered.
We have the report from France.
The family was silent.
Chevo, what the?
Applewoon wondered.
Well, shit.
What?
Well, shit. Come on.
Dang it, there it is again.
Stop getting.
I don't know what it is. It's loud. All right, whatever. Applejack appeared mollified by his response, tipping back her hat in a relaxed manner. Equestrian Prince released a breath he'd been holding.
I guess it makes sense for Kanaka's money to be used high class apples.
She reasoned, thinking, "Oh my God, there it is again! I have closed everything. What is making that sound?"
Calais Blanc, huh? You know, we got some real sweet golden delicious apples peeled over. Some kind of taste and texture. Granny used to make 4 straight with them, and flan too. Oh.
He inquired, genuinely curious now.
You don't make those anymore? They didn't sell to one in town.
Applejack explained with a casual shrug.
So we switched to selling them as snacks. They also don't keep too well. One must adapt to one's marketplace.
He cautiously ventured, feeling a little give in the element of honesty.
Yep.
It was Big Mac who spoke up then.
You suggested we make treats for the gala then. As I might have said before, Karn.
He caught himself.
Most apple dishes are not in simplest time of the year. If you wish to sell at the gala, then you will be wise to either make some exotic or decadent, or better yet, both.
Brother and sister gave each other a quick look, a conversation, and a glance.
Well, you do sound like Verity.
Applejack replied with a laugh.
No wonder he's so gaga about meeting the Princess Celestine's nephew.
Shifting uncomfortably, Blue Blood covered his anxiety about the situation by taking another sip of country coffee. Milk and cream sure helped.
I'll take that as a compliment.
he finally said.
Still,
Applejack drawled.
it's too late to reprisal stock of the gala. It takes time for those things, and Granny Smith is the only one who knows how to make treats. I can't recall much at all how she makes apple shortcuts. Besides,
She exclaimed with a confident grin.
once all those fancy bonnets get a whiff of our apple trees, there's someone who will do the rest. Really.
Bluebird drolly commented.
Uh, apples.
That'd be just first thing. Apples!
Apples,
Apples!
motherfucker! He just smacked
He
them.
smashed the radio, and Blue Blood surged out of bed.
Kicking open the door, he stomped past a table of funny notables.
What are you doing?
What?
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
You're reading the wrong part.
Kicking open the door? What?
If you want to keep going, go ahead.
What's wrong? What did I did wrong?
It's not him talking.
Oh, sorry.
I wasn't sure if you were trying to keep consistent or not. Dork. Kicking open the door, he stomped past the table of pony notables, heading straight for the kitchen while cackling madly. Proper place seemed on the verge of speaking up, but his mouth was up as he realized Blue Blood had zero intention of actually sitting at the table to share breakfast with the rest of the royal household. Luna, in particular, seemed to be, what the heck? Seemed to be watching the strange spectacle with wide green eyes.
Nephew.
Celestial spoke up, and he paused at the dulcet, commanding tone.
Auntie?
He asked, one hoof already opening the door to the pantry.
Normally we eat at the table.
She commented with a growing smile, and her spoon gestured towards her own bowl of oats, and
Apples.
he muttered, slipping into the kitchen.
Apples! I guess it makes sense.
Insane.
He's going kind of crazy by that point.
Apples!
Apples! Fucking apples! I guess it makes sense.
Apples! Apples! Good.
I guess it makes sense like a high class pony. We used to high class apples.
Applejack reasoned, thinking aloud.
Kabyle blank, huh? You know, because some real sweet, golden, delicious apples I feel over. Some kind of taste and textures. When I used to make them to make open face threats with them and flan too.
Blue Blood nodded knowingly.
You don't make those anymore? They didn't sell that one in town.
She explained with a casual shrug.
So we just switched to selling them as snacks. They also don't keep too well. One must adapt to one's market.
He agreed.
Yup.
Big Mac spoke slowly and thoughtfully.
You're suggesting we make tricks for the gala then?
Blue Blood's horn glowed, and he levitated out a small brown folder.
Let me be truthful to you, Miss Applejack, if it's alright. Ain't no policy like honesty.
The countryman replied.
What you got there? You might not know this, but I'm one of the primary financial sponsors of the gala being held in my auntie's honors.
He said, and floated out a pair of fine-etched papers.
This is the menu for the gala. The right side here being said one piece, 7 course dinners open for guests, and the left side being the buffets and hors d'oeuvres.
Hors d'oeuvres. Applejack took the proffered menu and scanned through, starting with the right side.
Well, I'll be. You should see some of the fancy dishes here. Big Mac, why I never heard of some of these.
She paused as her eyes found the left side of the carte du jour, the recently updated buffet. Blue Blood had to suppress an evil grin.
What the hey?
Applejack held up the papers again, looking closer.
Apple fritters, caramel apples, 3 varieties of apple dumple, apple fondue.
Slowly, she lowered the evil bill of fare.
How much did you say it costs to eat at the buffet?
She cautiously asked.
The buffet is free.
Are you saying buffet?
Buffet, sorry.
You know the T is silent, right? It's buffet.
Well, sorry.
I'm not mad. You can't act like I'm mad when I correct your English. Um, he told her
Oh, I see
straight
what
face.
he did.
Right.
We're all guests. Tarnation, they got everything here but apple pie and apple crepes. How am I supposed to sell half my treats when any old pony can just walk into the next room and get the same thing for free?
She started to simmer, trying to think up a plan.
You wouldn't happen to know where your chefs are getting these apples, do you? That's the awkward
That's
bit.
the Blueblood admitted with a helpless shrug.
I suspect those apples are being purchased from the local retailers and middle ponies. Local?
Applejack buried her face in her hooves.
They're selling your own apples. Quite.
Blueblood remarked. A little pony in the back of his head was cackling in manic glee.
Well, what the heck am I supposed to do now?
She handed the menu back, and he deftly returned it to his folder and then his saddlebag.
This is a right mess, is what it is. I suspected as much.
The equestrian prince held up a hoof for her attention.
And on my way over, I might have stumbled on a way to salvage the situation. Unless you want me to just close the table, providing the apple over the viewers. You wouldn't want me to. You wouldn't want to have any competition if I did so. You do that?
Applejack asked, starting to consider it. Then she saw Applebloom sitting next to him and listening closely. The honest cowgirl shook her head.
No, no, thank you. That's how Apple family does business.
Blueblood smiled.
So here, in that case, maybe another approach to business.
Eyes scanning the faces of her immediate family, Applejack held a hoof to her chin.
Like what? Simple.
He replied.
For Noble's allegation at the gala, the actual taste of the food is really secondary to the presentations. Ponies like myself are at the gala to see others and to be seen. It is a elaborate display of effort and refinement. The finest and a lot of pretentiousness apparently. The finest dishes are the ones that give the impression of being sinfully decadent. What does that mean?
Applebloom asked, wide-eyed and innocent.
Decadent.
Applejack explained for the benefit of her little sister, scowling as she did so.
It means some foolish pony like I like to indulge themselves on silly things that think they are important. Like buying an expensive hat instead of the one that does the job. I agree.
I agree.
I believe Miss Rarity will disagree.
Ooh! Blueblood argued.
But yes, the important thing in this case is that the cuisine is both expensive and exclusive to the gala. So you're saying is I need to dress up my apples?
The apple farmer huffed.
I guess I could make some cake or something. No cakes!
No cakes! Blueblood brought a hoof to his mouth and coughed a few times.
Sorry.
He tried again.
No cakes, please. I'm not fond of cake.
I'm not fond of cake. Applejack raised an inquisitive eyebrow.
You don't say. Instead,
He proposed.
since you already have a quite a few pies, perhaps you could make them a bit like this.
He retrieved another picture, this one a piece of pie on a platter. The dish itself was intricate, fine china, and the slice of pie was drizzled with bright caramel in a familiar shape, with lines that ran wastefully over the porcelain saucer below. Curls of shaved apple aligned the edges, not for eating, just for show.
I get it.
Applebloom peeked across the table to see the picture.
It looks like the latest cutie mark.
Philly knows her cutie marks.
Could you make could you make an apple pie that looks like this?
He asked disarmingly calm.
I suppose I could.
Applejack didn't sound sure, but the reluctance was probably due to the appearance of the dish rather than the difficulty of emulating it.
Good.
Blueblood let her keep the picture.
All you need to do is sell them 10 bits a slice.
Her hat damn near flew off her head. That's you.
10 bits a slice?
She yelped and quickly lowered her voice.
What kind of mad pony will pay 10 bits for a slice of pie? I was gonna sell it for a piece for 2 bits. Oh, they'll buy it.
Blueblood assured her, leaning forward to take one last polite sip of coffee.
And they whispered about how much they spent on it, and you'll set it in an hour.
Applejack, left with few other options, reached up to press her hat down on her head.
I guess I could.
Jackpot! The apple farmer would be ready. Damn that song!
Equestria.
No! Twilight Sparkle, element of magic. Purple.
There's a point. You. Whoa, I get stuck there. You do realize that he has to do every single time he wakes up and has to try again. He has to do the whole thing with all of the mares at the same every single time, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Can't imagine what Pinky must be like. Let's see. Twilight Sparkle, element of magic. The purple coloration was quite exotic. More blue blood thought about it. He couldn't recall many unicorns that reached deep shade of the color around Canterlot, whereas white was common among the carefully bred noble families. I'd say inbred myself. Himself included. It was family tradition to always marry into proper bloodlines to ensure the perfect bleached coat passed down through 52 generations. It was supposed to be a sign of respect for one's ancestors and of proper adherence to the old ways. I guess marrying your cousin is like that. Blue Blood suspected every pony just wanted to look as much like Princess Celestia as possible.
Prince Blue Blood?
Sadly, he was greeted not by a pretty purple unicorn, but by her little dragon assistant, the little serpent. Nasty. Stared at him with narrow, unnaturally green eyes. He was a small specimen. Blue Blood had encountered a few of his type over the years, especially at the Royal Academy. Naturally, he didn't have one himself. He had quite thoroughly failed that particular test of magic.
You're the one who was sent the letter this morning.
Spike stated, unhappy with the fact.
Since when was my stomach on royal speed dial?
He
It wasn't that uncomfortable, was it?
looked down at the little dragonkin.
I'm still getting used to that spell. No worse than usual.
Spike relented and stepped aside.
Come on in.
Blue Blood entered the quaint little library in a tree.
That no longer exists.
He had been quite impressed the first time he had done so. It was a feat of magic in and of itself to produce such a structure, but the novelty had worn off after enough loops. Nonetheless, the noble pony found it rather odd. The Ponyville Library had a very, very eclectic array of books and scrolls, some of which only existed as copies in the Royal Library itself. It was wholly out of place for such a small town like Ponyville. His playful auntie's doing, no doubt.
Spike,
Twilight called from out from upstairs.
have you seen the Terrace Home for Tricks, Transmutations, and Transformations? Is that
Case 2, East Wall, Shelf 6, 13th from the left. Dude, he knows his stuff.
I'll get it.
Spike called back, already on his way, pausing only to adjust the sliding ladder that let him reach the higher shelves.
His Highness is here to see you. I'll be there, Dad. Just get that book.
As always, Blue Blood noted the little dragon eyeing him warily.
Hey,
He said, ascending the ladder.
are you taking Twilight to the gala? How did you even met? I'm not here for Twilight specifically.
He had learned very quickly and quite readily that the juvenile dragon had some sort of crush on Rarity, making mention of being that unicorn's escort generally led to more trouble than it was worth.
You could say that I'm accompanying all of the 6 elements of harmony. Because they're the elements of harmony?
Spike asked, retrieving Tensor's tome.
I'm doing this for the good of the gala.
He replied with practiced ease.
And yes, because they are the elements of harmony. So you don't,
Spike turned, book in hand, and jumped down.
like any of them, do you? I hardly know them.
He couldn't help but grin as he added,
Why do you ask? It's kind of a secret, pal, but...
Good Lord, he was terrible at keeping secrets. Spike walked over and whispered conspiratorially.
Let's just say I have my eye in one of them. Oh.
Oh. He couldn't help himself.
Let me guess. The gracefully young Pegasus? Who?
He sticks out his tongue. Spike asked and stuck out his tongue.
No, she isn't a Pegasus. Ah, the lively-haired pony filly then. Who? Which one? No! Don't tell me.
Who? He gasped in shock.
Miss Sparkles! Oh, scandalous! Gross! No!
Spike shook his whole body at the incestuous implication. I would do.
Well, I suppose it's based I don't know.
I wonder how many times in a row Blue Blood can do that before he stops getting satisfaction from it.
Probably a few hundred.
Probably.
Well, I suppose it's based I don't know.
Blue Blood finished with a chuckle.
I'm terrible with secrets.
Spike tucked the thick unicorn tome under his front leg and tried to compose himself.
Anyway, my point was, I was kind of hoping we could all spend time together, me and the girls. I mean, I wanted to show them our old hangout and frozen Canterlot.
Blue Blood wondered aloud.
But doesn't Miss Dash wish to spend her time with the Wonderballs? Yeah, I guess. I ran into Miss Pinkamena Pie earlier, and she's going to be very excited about dancing. Yeah. This might also be a remote, but isn't Miss Applejack planning to set up all the full sauce during the gala?
Spike frowned a little petulantly in Blue Blood's opinion.
I get it.
He cut off any further remarks.
You all want to go do your own things. Guess that leaves me to chat with the Velvet or something. You don't have anything you want to do at the gala?
Really quick, Nico?
Yeah.
A lot of words that end with ET, like buffet and valet, the T is silent.
Oh, that was bad. Okay, sorry.
I'll let you know, but if you get it wrong, but just a heads up.
People, remember, this is my second language and I'm Spanish, so if that happens, you know why.
And Argentine Spanish at that.
Yeah.
Blue Blood asked honestly, not knowing the answer to this one.
No one you want to see? No place you want to be? This probably sounds silly,
Spike said.
but I just want to be around my friends.
John sighed softly, seeing twilight coming down from the upper rooms in the building. It was time.
So do I sometimes.
He whispered just loud enough for Spike to hear. Finally, it was time. Rainbow Dash's squeal of excitement could be heard even over the sound of the hairdryer struggling to blow down Pinkie Pie's irrepressible mane. Ponyville's top flyer was already basically ready to go, her mane drying under a towel wrapped around her head. Never one to waste much time between prep and launch, countdowns were for sissies. She had nonetheless resigned herself to mostly waiting around while all of her friends burned the hours away getting ready. But now, she showed off the little ID stub that she had freed from the letter taped to her cloud house this morning. It wasn't just a ticket to the gala. She already had a basic admissions tab. This was a VIP pass to the private section of the party, reserved for the Wonderbolts and their guests and family and fans. Just thinking about it, it started to get her wings humming.
It says here that I can spend the whole night with any two Wonderbolts I want.
She exclaimed.
Any two!
Sorry. She stared hard at the little tag, currently laminated flat with a small pin, all ready to attach onto her dress somewhere. It was her free pass, exactly what she'd wanted. With this one little thing, she could stroll carefree into the private party of her idols. More than that.
Any two Wonderbolts, and they'll all be there.
She gasped, carefully pressing the ticket to her face.
I can't decide. Do you think any two means even Thunder Tree himself, the Captain Simpson of the Wonderbolts? It couldn't. I mean, maybe I could. What should I even say to him? Wait.
She realized.
Do you think there'd be retired Wonderbolts too? Oh my gosh! What if Sky Sherry's there? She's amazing. Amazing.
Cyan Pegasus bit her lip.
But wait, she's only more like Pinkie in this art. But wait, if I'm going to spend the whole night with Wonderbolts, maybe I should try to pick one closer to my age. Hanging out with two Wonderbolts of Sky Shadow Rising Star would be so sweet, but oh man, what am I going to do? Prince Bilbo, give you say?
What?
Prince Bulbot gave you... Prince Bulbot gave you that?
I was gonna say.
I got
Dash
confused there.
interrupted her bouts of vocal indecision to look over at her unicorn friend. Rarity was just finishing under one of the drying machines. Her hair glistened and shone as she started to curl it just right. A case with makeup and cosmetics was already open next to her. It was the look on her face that got Dash's attention, however. She looked a little confused, and clearly scrutinizing all that she had heard this morning was taking some sort of toll. Not that the Weathermere saw the problem.
I don't know.
Rainbow admitted, going back to cooing at the VIP ticket.
He was just there on the front door of my house when I woke up. He did have a royal guard with him.
Applejack reminded her friends.
Or maybe he knew that cloud walking spell they used on a Twilight. If he found the time to drop off that note around high in the sky.
Rarity surmised, then pointed at Applejack.
And he visited your farm, and a couple of others, I reckon.
Applejack supplied.
And he visited you too?
Rarity turned her eyes on Twilight, who was fully under a dryer with just the lower half of her face visible.
And you too, Pinky? He stopped by for a while.
The normally bubbly pony was busy reading a book and tapping her left foot in time to some unheard music. The rest of her response was muted by her muttering something about step, 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 spin.
Everybody except Fluttershy.
Rarity finished. It sounded like she wasn't sure. Like she wasn't sure how she felt about that. Her eyes wandered over to the bouquet of flowers she had brought to show off to her friends. The stalks were moistened in a tall glass, some of the paper wrapping removed to allow the flowers to drink and remain fresh a little longer. It was already filling the room with a faint but unmistakably sweet fragrance.
Oh no, not me.
Fluttershy meekly replied, hooves soaking in mineral water.
But that bouquet is just lovely, glistening bellflowers and brainwave roses don't grow around here. Maybe he got them from the Canterlot Gardens? You'll forgive me for looking a gift horse in the mouth, darlings.
There was not the word horse in that sentence.
Oh, sorry.
Rarity said, winding her hooves together nervously.
It fitted either way.
Whatever.
It all just seemed too good to be true. I never imagined the serials of my dream will just walk right up to my door. It just seems...
She bit her lower lip.
Too convenient. You're just overthinking things.
Dash blurted out, giggling to herself at the VIP pass as she tried to find a good place to wear it, moving it from her sides to her front and then to under her wings.
When I spoke with him, he sounded very heavily insistent in the outcome of the gala tonight.
Twilight added, over the voice of reason and studied examination.
I think he thinks that we're the guests of honor due to being the elements of harmony of what we need to saving Princess Celestia and Princess Luna. That makes sense.
Rarity grudgingly admitted.
You think he's doing this out of some sort of obligation? Why does it matter so much anyhow?
Applejack asked, helping Fluttershy dry off her hooves.
He seemed like a nice enough fella, so you know these noble pony types. They always got some angle on their own. I bet he just wants to make some good impression trains. It matters because...
Rarity didn't finish her objection. She just closed her eyes and floated over a pair of lashes.
I think I understand.
Fluttershy said, grimacing as Applejack spat on her hoof before wiping it clean. Ew.
You want him to like you for who you are. He asked if he could escort me to the gala.
Rarity looked at her reflection in the mirror, full of worry when it should have been excitement.
But something just doesn't feel right. I expect it to be magical. Maybe it'll be.
Twilight assured her friend.
Just wait and see. Tonight is going to be...
All six raised their voices.
The best night ever.
The best night ever. That was terrible. Remind me to never sing while we're recording.
So,
end of chapter 3 of 5. An interesting story so far.
Oh my god, what do you think?
I almost want to end this like a kid's TV show.
Blue Blood has successfully finished his routes with all 6 of the main 6. The elements of harmony are prepared, or so they think, for the gala tonight. What will happen next? Will the plans go off without a hitch, as Blue Blood expects, or is his time up? Will the dragon ruin everything? Is Rarity right? Join us next time in the best night ever.
You forgot to say, will Fluttershy freak out and kill all the animals again?
Is Fluttershy gonna fucking kill everything? Wow, that's like... That may be the first time I've said the F word, and I didn't mean to.
So,
For our videos, I mean.
anything you want to say before we got out?
I'm gonna go wash my mouth out with soap.
Good night, people.
Have a good night, people. Thanks for listening. Was silly.